179, Ron McAllister. I apologize for the people that are sitting there. We have approximately 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. We have about 9 deputants. Okay, go ahead, sir.
What I see happening in City Hall disturbs me deeply. It disturbs my neighbors. It disturbs my family and friends. Because the city is becoming uncaring, unfeeling, a city that is it's acceptable to bully its city, the citizens, a city seemingly immune to reasonable argument, incapable of weighing rational evidence. I'm not a union member. I don't work for the government. I'm a businessman. I'm an entrepreneur. I've been working in the lumber business for over 25 years. I import-export lumber and building materials in the United States. I have customers who are now friends. The first thing Mr. Ford cut was the vehicle registration tax, a tax that produced over $67 million in city revenues. I was happy to pay it and would be happy to pay it again if it means that the poor single mother of 3 can put her children in daycare. I'd be happy to pay it again knowing that the poorest children are going to receive dental care. I'd be happy to pay it knowing that the city was going to provide wheel-trans services for the seniors that are on portable dialysis machines. I'd be happy to pay it knowing that my secretary was going to get on work on time because she didn't have to wait for the second or third bus because the first one was jammed with commuters. The cuts in just these 4 areas are going to hurt the poor and the vulnerable of this city. What I fear most from these elected officials, and particularly with our mayor, is that these guys are going to privatize the city public services, services that the public has invested in for decades. But when shady politicians and corrupt corporations circumvent all checks and balances of public participation, public planning, and public transparency, we should all start to worry because we too often find that the public investment we've all made over the decades becomes a private property. Yet I remind you of the Highway 407 that Mike Harris privatized and the Sky Dome, all publicly financed at great cost, only to be sold to private industry for pennies on the dollar. After water testing had been privatized by A&L Labs in Walkerton, Ontario by Mike Harris, Conservative government, 7 people, including a baby, died as a result of E. coli. The company treated the test results as confidential intellectual property and refused to make them public. Is this a city we want to build? I challenge the council, the mayor, and the people of Toronto and ask yourself...
Thank you very much, sir. Questions? No applause. This is not a circus, all right? No. Questions? Councillor Vaughan.
You talked about the vehicle registration tax as being a solution to part of this problem, and I'm curious as to whether or not you've talked to your local councillor about bringing it back.
Yes, I have. I've made deputations. I've made 1 deputation before, and I've written emails to, in fact, all of the councillors. They should all be aware of the fact that I've sent them all a letter.
While we walk into this budget crisis, there are some musing about removing another tax, the land transfer tax. Would you recommend that as a way to protect services and balance the budget?
I would not eliminate that. That is not a way to grow the city.
You also talked about the late-night TTC service. There are some that would suggest that if you simply paid your staff more, they could drive a car instead. Is that a viable business opposition?
It's not a viable option for poor people. It leaves the most vulnerable people at risk. I can't imagine a poor woman who has to work at 3 o'clock, 4 o'clock in the morning, and catch a bus and has to work maybe over a kilometer to find another bus.
Councillor Carroll.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor.
The pause is just cutting into your time,
thank you,
Councillor.
Mr. Mayor. I'm just going to proceed. I'm interested. You introduced yourself as a private businessman, but you're recommending against privatization of public services, and particularly privatization of the monitoring of public services. Have you done research into this, or it's personal experience?
Well, no, yeah, I have experience in it. I mean, there is a place for the public. There's a place for the private, and there's a place for the public. And most countries that work well are the ones that understand that, where the private business and the public interests work together, not at odds. And you know that what's going to happen down the pike here in a few years is going to be the privatization. These guys are going to be pushing for the privatization of all these city services. And it's the people in this city that are going to suffer, and it's the people who are the poorest and the most vulnerable. I can pay taxes. I'm glad to pay taxes. As Oliver Wendell Holmes said, taxes guarantee me a civil society.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
Councillor Davis. Councillor Davis. Councillor Davis, your time's going.
I just have
Thank you for my time.
No, you got a question?
As a businessman, and knowing what businesses look for in terms of investing and locating businesses, I wonder if a healthy, vibrant, well-serviced city is one of those things that businesses look for.
As I had to speed read my speech, one part of it talked about my secretary. Sometimes she has to wait for the second or third bus. She is there to serve our company. If she's not there on work on time, how am I supposed to conduct business? If the transportation system grinds to a halt, how can I live in a city? How can I support this city? Maybe it's better I take my business out of Toronto and go to Richmond Hill, or go to Vaughan, or go to Mississauga, where at least I know that the people are going to get to work on time. I depend on the people that work for me to get to work on time.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Councillor Cho, go ahead.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I gather most of the deputants that prepare a 5-minute speech. Now, this committee made it to 2 minutes. Do you think that the executive committee is abusing their power?
Councillor Cho, you're asking the deputy a question.
Yes, I'm asking.
Yes, I do, for a fact, because it's ridiculous, first of all, that we should be speaking all throughout the evening. I don't understand. I mean, can't we do it in a more democratic way where people are maybe given numbers, people are allowed to speak? This is, I don't understand this. This is like I have to speed read for 2 minutes to get to, I'm taking time off my work to come here so that I can try to work to make the city a little bit better for all of us. And to be given 2 minutes is really an insult, I think, to all of us.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. Seeing no further speakers, thank you, sir.